say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you in tune to GBN TV, whether it's channel 7, channel 11, channel 20. Good Tuesday morning. It's November the 5th, 2024. Good morning to you once again, especially those of you via social media platforms, the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. GBN's webpage, gbn.gd. Good morning and welcome. It's To The Point. I'm your host, GT, and with me this morning, it's Opposition Tuesday on To The Point. And with me this morning, we have Mr. Bertrand John with us this morning. Mr. John, let me say good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the program again.
Morning to the listening public. Happy to be with you as always.
Yeah, it's your second time being back on the program, and you're representing the New National Party this morning, and of course, we're getting set to dive into the conversation. How have things been with you for the last from our last conversation? How's things been for you thus far?
Good, working as always.
As simple as
trying to put bits and pieces together, trying to assist people in whatever way I could. That's it, trying to solve people and do what I do best, farming.
Yeah, all right. You a key statement you made there was serve people. The last time we were here, we did plan to talk about it sometime. So we're going to probably just jump into it and then we get into the other bits and pieces of the conversation this morning. It's your aspirations, your political aspirations. Tell us a wee bit about that. It is also entwined with serving people. Tell us about your political aspirations as an individual, sir.
In relation to serving people, I realized from our last conversation that lots of people this end of the country don't seem to know me, St. George's end.
For some reason
for one reason or another. And it's kind of strange that I am an executive member of the New National Party for the last 10 years.
Why have no one known you, sir?
And it's kind of strange that there is no major farming activity in this country that we haven't helped, whether it be physically, whether it be with information, whether it be with planting materials or logistics. There is no major farm in this country that would have taken up and we didn't help one way or another. So it's kind of strange when people say, something, I haven't known this guy. Where he from, and where have you been for a long time?
Well, let me give you that opportunity this morning to. Maybe to the folks, maybe as you say, in this part of the island, the southern part, mostly St. George's, St. David's, more or less, who may not know Bertrand John, or may be hearing or seeing you via television for the first time, hearing you speak about, of course, folks may hearing you on other mediums speaking, but may not have put a picture to the voice also. Tell us something about Bertrand John that would, of course, draw the attention to an individual like yourself.
I do an agriculture program every single Thursday for the last decade, for the last 10 years.
The last 10 years you've been doing
probably more, than 10 years. On Real FM, every Thursday morning. River Antoine Estate.
Yes.
Worked there for the last, worked there for about 5 years.
Yes.
Kenco, I worked for about 5 years. Belvedere Development Company, I worked there for over 3 years. Lake Farm, I've been working there for the last 30 years. And all in the position of managing director. Yeah. So it's kind of strange that people don't know me. It's kind of strange when I think everybody knows me, and nobody knows me.
Well, here's the right opportunity is presenting itself to let people get to know you. Because you still haven't told me about Bertrand John. Tell me something about Bertrand John that would of course.
You would have to be specific because I don't like to blow my own trumpet.
That I understand.
Did prefer people ask me specific questions about myself, then I can answer. But I don't like to, basically outline myself. I don't know what it is people might be interested in knowing about.
Well, as I mentioned in previous, because let's talk about that political aspiration of yours. So tell us a wee bit about that.
used to be involved in politics, but not at a frontline level.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you that, the reason why, up front now, I don't know if you remember earlier on this year, for one reason or another, our year started off with a hope of senseless killing.
Yes.
There was a lot of crimes and stuff like that. And it began to take a toll on me and quite a few, people in my constituency, in my community. So we decided one evening to go, just chat with the guys on the block.
Yeah.
And ask them to, keep it low, And it don't make sense with all this, senseless, crime and stuff. And I remember we went to Livera and was talking to the guys on the block, and it was about 6:30, and we decided to end, and everybody decided to go their own way. And when I was going to my vehicle, there was this elderly lady, this old lady. She came up to me, she held on to me, and she shook me, she shook me, and I looked at her, and she smiled. Really, really, how I should put it, man, genuine smile.
Mm.
And she said, are you a government official? I said, no, I'm just doing this, my civic duty. And she said, I don't want anything. I'm not asking you for anything. Just, would like the government to put back the 150 that they took out. And for one reason or another, it just sank my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel really, really sad. And I remember getting home and, tears just started coming out of my eyes because for one reason or another, when I was growing up, we didn't have much. We grew up from poor family and stuff. And people used to help us out a lot. People used to, give us things. And when this old lady came and she just, shook me and just make me feel sick. I remember crying in the vehicle before I go inside the house because I didn't want anybody to see that I was crying. And I remember the whole night I was tormented. I couldn't sleep. Something kept saying, BJ, come like you forget where you come from. And the next day I call our political leader and I say, I think I want to take a different approach to the whole thing. There are certain things that I expect people to, solve, and they're not doing it. And it seems as though I have to do it myself. Hence the reason you see me up front in relation to politics.
All right. How has it been thus far for you? The acceptance from within the constituency in St. Patrick's East, that's one of the constituency, you are one of the leads there. How has it been thus far in the acceptance of you now coming to the forefront of politics?
That is not an issue. My name is like a household name in my constituency, mm-hmm. because around the place all the time, assist people, provide things for people, send children to school, help the elderly, create employment, involve in sponsoring, football competitions and all of those things. I do my bit. I've been paying my dues. So to get accepted, in terms of, a political nature, that is not an issue. Mm-hmm. How I should put it? If you was to walk on my constituency and you would say, BJ, that's what everybody calls me. I don't think there would be anybody who doesn't recognize me or who doesn't know me.
So
I'd have to search for recognition or acceptance. Mm-hmm. I'm always there. The people in the constituency that grew me up, Bertrand. Yeah. As I told you, we didn't have much. And, some people would have provide clothes for us, some people would have provide food for us. There was a lot of us, and we didn't have plenty of things to go by. And the people in my constituency that grew me up, there was this lady named Big T in Sotes. When we used to go to school and stuff like that, she used to, provide meals for us, a snack and all of those things. It's sad that those people dead and gone and you really can't, repay them. But, a lot of people in the constituency that look after us, So I think it's my turn now to turn around and see what best I can do for repay the people.
You as the individual, what difference do you see that you can make, especially if for some it comes around the next election, you've been selected to and you happen to be part of the particular constituency, you become a government minister. I'm just preempting that. What difference would you like to see in terms of the overall politics in Grenada?
In relation to the overall politics, I think, first, I don't think the politicians realize that they are a servant of the people. And I would like to see politicians realizing that, hang on, something, we are serving the people and not ourselves. So the personality, the personal nature in our politics, we need to do something with that. If you watch how we behave, in the highest house in the land, in parliament and those kind of places, where we're supposed to be at our best behavior, where the nation is looking at us and people international is looking at us regionally, and sometimes the way we carry ourselves, the way we carry ourselves, the way we, conduct our business. Trust me, Bertrand, if you've been looking at it, you realize that those things are just puppy show we're making. We're not serious about our country. Or else you wouldn't be behaving like that. If you look upon the way we criticize each other, we do it in a destructive way. We don't do it to, better our situation. We do it to pull down people. And those are the things I want to see, changing in our country. The way we look at look after the poor and the needy in our country, brethren, we're not doing this thing good. And we have a lot of vulnerable people, and our safety net isn't good enough. We're not looking after those people properly, and we could look after them properly if we handle our economy correctly. What is so difficult about that? What is so difficult about giving an elderly lady who would have built our roads and walk our estates and clean our schools and clean the side of the road, and she become, old now and can't do very much? What is so hard to give that person $400 every month? This could only pay the electricity bill and the water bill, We'll talk about medicine and food and other stuff yet, And we, we behave in that kind of manner, and then we come wrong election time looking for people's support and ask them to become passionate with us and those kind of things. We are behaving like animals. Politicians in our country, sometimes they behave like insane people, and I'm saying no. I would like to see those things change. I would like to see NNP and NDC on certain,
Because I was going to ask you that. You speak of the behavior of politicians. So I was asking you if you're speaking of politicians across the board.
I'm speaking about politicians in general. I'm not here to criticize. I am not here to be critical of NDC or NNP. I'm speaking about politicians. I'm saying, and they know who they are. I am saying that some politicians in Grenada are not worthy of being politicians because of this, the state of mind, because of their reason, because of how they think, because of how they do things. Politicians don't do those things. Some of those things are, appear to me mad people think to me, If you would have watched an elderly lady, and you would figure something in the name of good management, in the name of whatever, I don't know how you want to call it, that you're going to withhold $150 from that person, then you're insane. Something wrong with you mentally. You're deranged. You're an agent of the devil. Simple like that, brethren. And I don't mix in matters when it comes to that. Politics is not my tastier half here, so to put it. I'm not sure if I really like it. But when you would turn around and the people who grew me up, the people who gave me a piece of food and I was passing when I was really hungry, when you would watch them and want to take $150 from them, you're affecting me. You're affecting me mentally. You're disturbing me. You're derailing me. And it is for those kind of reasons. You see people like me putting up my hand and say, hang on. Nope. You cross line, you cross borderline. You are getting into territory that I'm not sure I can cope with. Let me give you an example, man. This, and I'm not being political here, this current government, I expect them to make mistakes. And I'm not critical of them because they're young, some of the guys, them inexperienced, and I expect them to make mistakes. I'm a grown-up, and I make mistakes myself, all the time, almost every day. And, I can live with certain mistakes. But you see this one whereby you can watch old people who cannot look after themselves, children who need to go to school, and they need a bus fare. When you look at those people in our society and decide to cut back on those things, you're affecting me mentally. I can't live in a place like that. And Grenada is not a place like that. And we as a people aren't like that. Once, brethren, I was to a meeting and I stood up in the meeting and said, liars in Grenada are corrupt. And PM Dickon was in the meeting, and he wasn't having it with me. He was like, BJ, people need to be careful as to where they're saying what, And I stood up again and tried to say it, and he wasn't letting me say it, And after the meeting, I thought about it, and I said to myself, that time he was not Prime Minister yet, I said, this? That's the first time I came across him, Him, I said to myself, something? This man actually, it's making sense. Probably what I'm saying is correct, but maybe not the right place to say it and stuff like that. And I remember him since then, up to this current time. I have a special likeness for him. You know why? Because he corrected me. Because he realized I probably was saying something, but the place wasn't right for it. And I don't remember people who praise me. I remember the people who criticize me on my life journey. Those are the people that would create that positive nature within me. So sometimes we be critical of people, but we do it in a destructive way. We do it to pull them down. And politicians in Grenada need to understand that at the end of the day, if we fall down on the street outside there, we don't watch green or we don't watch yellow. We want somebody to pick us up. And we need to understand that Grenada is a small place, and we need to look, after each other in a formidable way, in a respectable way. You see people sit down in Parliament in Grenada here, and you may find somebody speaking, and the other person jeering at them and making a bag of foolishness. And maybe the Speaker of the House sit down there and trying to, put some semblance, sensibility in the House. He let things roll out and things get out of hand.
Mr. John, I understand.
You understand where I'm coming from? Well, if you don't stop me, I'll probably go on for the whole day. Because there is so much to talk about in relation to those things that sometimes I wish you don't talk about that.
I understand. But we due for a break. Let's take it, then we come back and continue with the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Stay with us.
Tourism is me, tourism is you, tourism is everybody, and tourism connects us all.
Did you know that tourism generates revenue and foreign exchange earnings?
Did you know it stimulates infrastructural development and facilitates cultural exchange among people?
You must know tourism is linked to all industries,
from agriculture to construction.
So support the industry today and be welcoming to all our visitors.
Tourism is my business. Tourism is your business. Tourism is our business. Listen, one and all. Tourism tourism connects us all.
A message from the Ministry of Tourism
And the Grenada Tourism Authority.
Hi, we're here at Answer Coating Grenada Limited, a proud sponsor of Christmas with GBN. And this year, we're giving up to 40% off various items.
And customers actually have the opportunity to win up to $1,000 cash. So we encourage you to stay tuned to Christmas with GBN and look out for all other in-store promotions and product information.
And don't forget, this December, a night of shopping with Answer Coatings.
Proud sponsors of Christmas with GBN includes Ace Hardware, Hubbard's, Flow, Grenada Duty Free, and Answer Coatings. Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers this morning here on Classic Radio GBN TV. It's Opposition Tuesday here on the program, and representing the new National Party, the opposition here on the island, on this island of Grenada, and our sister isles of Carriacou and PG Martinique, Mr. Bertrand John representing this morning. Mr. John, welcome back once again. Let's change now to the direction of our conversation this morning. You have a passion for agriculture. You always speak of it, and you said you for years you've been on another medium and you taught and you do an agriculture program. So agriculture is something that is embedded within you as an individual.
Yes.
So, you know,
Told you two items on the agenda.
Yeah.
My passion for people and farming.
And farming. All right. Recently, we've been hearing, of course, the rural administration been, of course, having the disbursements of funds for a lot of farmers and so forth who were affected by Hurricane Beryl. There's been conversation about it in terms of how the disbursement has been made. Has it made an impact for farmers who have got it? Would it made a difference for them in terms of helping them to resuscitate their farms and so forth, the lands that they have planted and so forth? What's your take on that, sir?
In relation to the disbursement of monies that the government had promised the farmers, that isn't going as planned. The way they are doing it warrant a different outlook, because there are too many farmers who need that bit of money and they haven't received it as yet, for one reason or another. The distribution isn't going as it should. This is like 4 months plus now since after the hurricane.
Yeah.
And to date, you have farmers who, are struggling to get that bit of assistance from the government that they promise. And I keep wondering, you promise the money, you say the monies are available. Why is it taking you so long to distribute that money? I'm not sure what it is happening here,
But there has been some distribution made, I would say.
Some. Bertrand, Grenada is a little place with a handful of farmers. You're saying everybody should receive that money already. What is it taking you so long to distribute a bit of money, $4,000 to your farmers? You don't have to do any calculation, because you have, a standardized package that you say you're giving. It's not like you have to go calculate. The names.
Do you have the record to show how many farmers, or do you have that? I'm not sure if you walk at that particular stats with you this morning. Is there 400 farmers in Grenada? Is there 500 farmers in Grenada?
Well, the stats is saying that there are about 20,000 farmers in Grenada.
20,000 farmers in Grenada.
But the farmers who are affected in the north of the island and the eastern side of the island, and maybe a small bit on the western
20,000
side.
20,000 farmers.
Registered.
Farmers. 20,000.
20,000. All right.
And we're talking from small, medium, and large sized farms.
Yes. And some people who would have, scratching a bit of land, they would tell you they are farmers, and you can't doubt them because they are registered, they are the farmer's ID and stuff like that.
Yes.
The point I'm making is, it's just a handful of farmers that was affected by Hurricane Beryl. Mm-hmm. Why is it taking you so long to assist those farmers?
Mm. So you say, let me see if I could get this correct in terms of how you're going about this. You said there's approximately 20,000 farmers in Grenada. Mm-hmm. And you say the farmers who may have been affected more from the northern part of the island. It's not as large as that 20,000 farmers in general.
No, a small bit of farmers that are affected. Mm. In the north of the island, Carriacou, and St. Mark's to a certain extent, and St. Andrews to a certain extent. Those auxiliary bit, St. Mark's and St. Andrews, they weren't affected very badly as St. Patrick's. Mm-hmm. So you have one central area to concentrate on, two, Carriacou and St. Patrick's, and then you have those two auxiliary parishes to deal with. Yeah. Well, how is it taking you so long? And why is it taking you so long?
Well, that's a question.
Bertrand, we have some old incompetent people in our country. And I'm not speaking about the politicians alone.
But there were some factors that was made. There were factors that was made.
Some technocrats too, the incompetent. That's gross incompetence. And I don't care who say what. And know, and I'm educated enough and sensible enough to know that that's gross incompetence.
Well, what I was saying, there have been some reasons stated why some farmers did not get the compensation that was needed. Example, in terms of how to disperse the money to them. Those who needed it via their bank accounts, who needed that check, stuff like that. There were some of the reasons they stated that some farmers, or in terms of farmers, having themselves maybe registered to let them know what the level of the destruction that affected them. Those are some of the reasons stated.
The problem in Grenada, there is too many misinformation going around, and too many old political parasites, social media parasites. They outside there influencing the politicians, and they're unable to make rational decisions, simple like that. Why farmers like me? All right? The damage that I had, it was so huge that the government couldn't even come with extension officer and assess. They had to get a drone because we would lose acres or lost acres and acres of bananas, acres of plantains, and they would have fly a drone. They would have taken a picture. Our hydroponic system damaged, our greenhouses was damaged, and when it comes to distribution of money, they said, "Hang on, Mr. John, you need to fill up this farm." Went and filled in the farm. They called me 2 weeks ago and said, "Mr. John, your check is ready."
So you were actually called?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I went to collect the money, actually I was given $4,500 and I have 82 acres of land. Is that a mistake or incompetence or victimization? Brethren, we need to start doing things differently in our country. We need to stop playing politics and playing games with our economy. And if people are incompetent and they can't handle it, they need to put up their hand and say, "Hang on, I don't think I'm fit or able to do the job.
So
go home."
From your understanding, how was the assessment actually done for farmers who may have lost a lot of their lands and produce and so on? How was the assessment actually done? You said you had a drone flow over your property.
With extension officer.
With the extension officer. Over your property.
And the information was given to the ministry. And everyone in the ministry would know that, hang on, I'm one of the, bigger farmers in Grenada.
So if approximately,
why should I
$30,000? You think that was not you were not adequately compensated?
They could have. They had a standard package that I was given. The package was 5 acres and below, you get $4,500. 5 acres and above, you get $9,500.
Yeah.
Why was I given $4,500 when you promised a one-off payment?
Well, I'm not sure the reason why for that. I would not be able to answer that.
Nobody. Except the foolish people and them that doing it.
Someone in the authority may have to.
Not somebody in the authority. The authorities are the one that are responsible, not somebody. Bertrand, we have too much incompetent people in key position in our country. And I keep saying that. You heard me say that the last time I was here. Square pegs in wrong hole. It wouldn't fit. The proper selection and placement of people is the key to good management. You have the wrong people. What do you expect to get the right result? I don't think so.
All right. What do you think is needed to be done to of course, that steady revitalization of farming in Grenada? So I understand the destruction has taken place, but we need to revitalize agriculture to a state where it become more productive for the farmers and for the nation as a whole. What is that key adjustment that needs to be made?
What needs to be made is that you get the right person to spearhead that ministry or that sector.
So are you saying there's inadequate individuals in that particular ministry?
There are people in the ministry who are quite capable.
Yes.
Whether or not they've been allowed to do their work properly is a different thing. Because, the politicians tend to set the policy and, set the direction, the way things ought to be going. And I'm saying that we're not going in the right direction. So I know the person at the top is not fit for the job. Simple like that. I'm not blaming lieutenants and, sergeant and sergeant major and stuff, I'm blaming the general, the man in the command post. You are the problem. You are not getting things the way it ought to be. And when people start dying on the front line, I know you are the one that giving the wrong command. What else? It's a simple process,
I'm getting your analogy of what you go to.
The people at the top, they are the problems. And they need to get the act together if they want to develop the agriculture sector. If you want to see the agriculture sector moving, you need to ensure that you have the appropriate people working for you and you're doing the appropriate thing. You're telling me that there are no farmers who, farming, as a livelihood. That's what they're doing for their living. How comes somebody who isn't farming, permanently, how comes they're being paid and the guy who is farming permanently aren't getting paid? What it is you're telling me? This is not done by alphabetical order to say, it's done by surname and based on X, Y, and Z. It seems as though it's random picking. But that random picking seems to be more or less, heading in a direction that resembles corruption and bad-mindedness and stupidness too.
All right. We're due for a break. Let's take a little break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. We also, of course, invite our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two as it relates to the conversation this morning, you're free to call in and make your contribution as we go along. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch it out. Stay with us here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back.
Grenada, get ready to celebrate the magic of the season with Christmas with GBN. Starting November 4th, join us weekdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on GBN Television, K105 and Hot 98. Monday kicks off with traditional stories and wellness, featuring a storytelling session with Labukan Creative Center, giveaways, nutrition tips, and live calls to share your holiday wishes. On Tuesday brings Craft Day with live and pre-recorded workshops guided by local artisans. Join us for more giveaways and connect through live calls. Wednesday features an outdoor production showcase, giving local sponsors a chance to shine from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. On Thursday, it highlights a local cuisine showcase at True Blueberry Resort. And on Friday, it wraps up the week with live entertainment in our studio, showcasing local artists and more opportunities for live calls. Don't miss out on the joy and togetherness this holiday season. Celebrate with us on Christmas with GBN.
Hello, everybody. My name is Renee Goodwin, and I am the marketing manager here at True Blue Bay Resort. And I am so excited to invite you all to join us every Thursday on GBN, starting from November 7th, as we count down to the holiday season, right here at True Blue Bay Resort, Grenada's best family-friendly resort for visitors and locals.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. I'm your host, GT, with you this morning, and you have Mr. Bertrand John with us this morning, representing the New National Party. Welcome back once again to all our listeners and viewers. Mr. John, welcome back to you also. I did mention, if there are listeners and viewers out there, if you do have a question or two you may like to ask, or you just want to get into the conversation that we'll be having this morning, feel free to do so in this segment. We do have a caller. Let's see if this caller would like to contribute this morning. Caller, you're welcome and good morning, and you're live.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
John.
to you.
All what you are saying is real true. I have some lands, and I've made the requisite approach to get money. I have visited the area where I sell nutmegs, and what I'm hearing is I'm told to go to Grenville receiving station. And when I went there, all what I have seen is 3 or 4 ladies sitting on a counter. And they have a piece of paper or pieces of papers in their hand. And when you ask, they look at for your name. I don't see it. You don't know, they call the other one. Look at you see it on this paper. I would say in these modern days, well, you should have computer. So as soon as you joke it, or you touch it, it will tell you if the person's name is there. Up to now, I cannot get my money for the loss of agricultural lands located at Dry River. And I cannot understand what is happening. We have, as I already said, square peg, I agree with the mister, in wrong holes or wrong holes in square pegs. Everybody seems to be they have their own agenda. And this is the problem with us in Grenada. Everything you do, you have political strings attached to. Although some of the ministers, pastors, as well as presidents saying, they fear. We are not fair. We are not dealing with people, especially the agricultural people. Fair. People have a tendency to lose a lot, and they cannot get compensation, although the government said that they allot some money for that. It's time that I get my money, and I visited and talked to Mr. St. Clair about it too. Mr. St. Clair, I think he's the manager or something, and yet he cannot tell me anything. In fact, in the early stages of his life, I dealt with him, and imagine he treated me so. What about those who didn't educate him? It's time that we get our money. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution this morning. How concerning is this for you in terms of the individuals who you hear from one call who said that he also made a request and for of course the loss that he has occurred and get to be compensated. How concerning is this to you?
This is just one farmer. There are many farmers like him. Hence the reason I made the point earlier on. The manner in which we seem to be distributing this money is not sensible. Did you hear the frustration in this farmer's voice? Well, when you have that level of frustration, you're sending that same person to go and produce? You're having the person demotivated. You have to raise people morale in order for them to be productive. That's how you're doing it? By withholding $4,000 or $5,000 from someone? Brethren, we're dealing with some small-minded people in our country, They mind small like the $4,000 they're trying to keep back from the farmers.
We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome and you're live.
Wow, Well, by the time I go to tell you what I'm telling you now, as a struggling farmer on a cell phone here trying to call, you answered, you open the line so long. Well, I mean...
Caller, would you go ahead or you come to make an argument? I really don't have time for the argument this morning. If you want to make a contribution, go right ahead. Or if you're coming to argue, let's not get into that this morning. Really not into that this morning. Let's go to another caller. Caller, good morning and you're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir.
Greetings to your guest there. It's the second time I'm listening to this gentleman. He makes some sense. Says things that are really factual in this here country. He refers to the inefficiency, the incompetence, the ineptitude, the square pegs in wrong holes, the victimization, the partisanship. My dear brother, all repeated deja vu for the past 50 years. 50 years of quote-unquote political independence. Now, what has created the conditions for this political independence? A constitution signed by a king, then he was a queen, an imperial order in council. Brothers, my dear brother, to cut the thing short, there is no documentation. There is no documentation whatsoever to prove the validity of the independence, nor the legality, the political legitimacy, legality, nor validity of the constitution of this country. It tells us, therefore, that the system upon which this country is built and operates, seemingly, has no legitimate background. My dear brother, my question to you is as follows, because you have aspirations to be a quote-unquote politician. I don't know if true and in fact, I'm not getting from you whether or not you want to be a minister, an executor, member of the cabinet, or a legislator. As far as I'm concerned, there are two different things, and no person can really serve both correctly. But my dear brother, are you prepared to challenge the system so that we can bring about some change? Because Einstein made it very clearly. He said, insanity is that of doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same results. Are you prepared therefore, Mr. John, to join the call for a refoundation of this nation so we can put proper rules and regulations into place with the people through a constituent assembly, so at least we can get some semblance of change in this country and not continue with this thing where one set of people, because they hold the power, quote-unquote, the pity, that they can do what they want and continue to abuse the Grenadian people? Or are you just prepared to continue to, quote-unquote, walk it so still? I'd listen to you, Mr. John, for what it's worth. You have a nice day, will you, sir?
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution. Respond to the caller in terms of the
Yes, I am prepared to change the status quo. I am challenging it because I've been around and it's not working properly. It's not working in the interest of our country. It's not working in the interest of our farmers. Hence the reason I'm here. Also, I wouldn't be making noise like that. Also, I wouldn't be wasting time driving from Battery to St. George's to talk to the people, to talk to the farmers of my country. It's because of ulterior motive. We need to change this thing if a country have to develop and to move forward. We have to. You don't have no two ways about it, and I'm not critical, I'm just challenging.
Okay. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning via WhatsApp. You're welcome and you're live.
Good morning to you guys. Mr. John, you're a very large farmer, 82 acres, whether it be in Monkridge, Livera, Carrier, Shamwood, or elsewhere. And it is very important that farmers get a fair and reasonable deal. But Mr. John, I don't know if you are a nutmeg farmer, but over the years, nutmeg has done very well to farmers in Grenada, just like how banana did very well to farmers during the geese era, 30 years ago approximately. There has been a Grenada nutmeg sector development strategy 2010 to 2015. Where are the voices talking about ensuring that the $16 million is raised so that strategy could be implemented? The time has far gone, 2015, so it needs to be revised. But nutmegs continue to sell. People continue to use nutmegs. Where is the strategy from the parts of government, be it NNP, NDC, or whatever P it is, with regard to diplomatic relations and showing that our economic interests are served? would you lend your voice to calling for that strategy to be revised? And the money is found to implement that development strategy, however tweaked, however adjusted, however new creations that come around that strategy, because it's in the interest of getting monies to farmers. Outside of that, what other things that can be done from your end, speaking with your fellow farmers, to ensure that farmers get a fair deal, whether it be incentives for hurricane relief, whether it be incentives for them getting assets to be utilized on the farms. So, for example, which farmer can purchase reasonably a new vehicle for over $100,000 to invest in working his farm? Why is it that the farmer cannot be allowed to bring in vehicles that are more than 10 years old, reasonably used, to farm in an era called the GOLP? Well, a fellow by the name of Matt and others were able to bring those duty-free and help to improve farming. So what's your voice? I think your voice on a
We are losing the quality of the call from you, caller. I guess it's due to connection, but I think we got the gist of the caller's statement. I'll show you. Maybe you can make a contribution before we do entertain another caller.
If we are using an ordinance that is 80 years old, 1940 something or whatever, to run an organization without changing the word or revising it, we are asking for trouble, because the world is a dynamic place and things keep changing, so we have to change to suit the time. If we are producing the best nutmegs in the world, why can't we determine that we get a good price for it? If 80% of the nutmegs that are used in the world is grounded nutmegs that are grind, why are we still selling the whole seed and we can't even grind it ourselves? Why didn't the Nutmeg Association, in times when they were, fetching good price, why didn't have major investment in lucrative areas that can, support your price when you're having, bad time? Because the world is a fluid place, and sometimes you have high price and you have low prices. It depends on the market forces. Well, when you don't, do those major investment or the sensible investment, you're asking for trouble. When you are putting people to work in areas based on political affiliation rather than the competency to do the job, you're asking for trouble. Well, those are the kind of problems that we've been having. Didn't you hear for the last, decade or so, that they're trying to merge Cocoa Association and Nutmeg Association together? This can't even take off. We're not getting anywhere with that. The same farmers who are farming the cocoa lands are the same farmers generally who are farming in nutmeg lands. Why you have two separate organizations running them? Well, you're asking for trouble when you're doing those kind of things. Here we are, nutmeg farmers would have damages to the crop 4 months ago. And some of the trees fell, a lot of the trees fell. It takes a while to resuscitate the nutmeg industry. Now, what is Nutmeg Association doing? What is the government doing in relation to that? Where are the plans to rehab that sector? You don't hear anything, no direction, no guidelines, no nothing. And people sit down there and they're hoping farmers can get back up and do it again. Well, where are they going to find the resources to do it when you can't even pay them $4,000?
We do have another caller, Mr. John. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning. One thing I have to say, the government got some millions of dollars, which is not theirs, it's for the farmers. Where did that money go? Up to now, the money is supposed to be shared, and still if they give all the farmers money, they will still have. So what is going on with that money? This is what the nation is supposed to know, transparency. Thank you, Mr. John. Could you approach that, please?
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
You realize what is happening? I am here just more or less outlining the situation in regard to agriculture in Grenada. And callers are asking me questions that they should be asking the government. What they do with this money that they got to assist farmers? what they do with the insurance money. People are asking for transparency. Where is the accountability? That's what people are asking for. That's what politicians need to realize that, hang on, you know something? I am the servant of the people. And yes, we got X amount of money. This is how we intend to spend it. This is how we're going to spend it. But when you're doing things in this clandestine, bandulu kind of way, how do you expect people to understand what it is that you are doing? Aren't you see the farmers outside, they are frustrated? Aren't you see that the call this morning is, hang on, you know something? You can treat us better than the way you are treating us? That's what the general sentiment this morning, if you listen carefully to the people who call this morning. Yeah. And yet still the politicians are acting insensitive. Either they're not hearing or they, I don't want to use the word stupid, I'm not supposed to use that on national TV and radio, but they are behaving very foolish.
Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Good morning to you, sir. Hello?
Yes, you're live, sir. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning to you, sir, and good morning to Mr. John. And I thought, first of all, I must congratulate Mr. John. I think he have made very good use of himself. Hats off to you. But some of the questions that he did ask to Mr. John, you know, is questions that should go to the different department, to the government department, and to the Ministry of Agriculture, the Cocoa Association and Nutmeg Association, and different groups, even the Farm Watch. We start Farm Watch how many times under all the government, NNP, NDC, and they're not making any sense. You're taking the Farm Watch personnel and use them in general agriculture. So the whole thing is in a caboose. So we definitely need. And in terms of what Mr. John said, but he didn't get money yet, I'm surprised to know as a farmer in Mr. John's position have not received a check yet. I received $404,000 because, I mean, it is known, widely known that Mr. John is one of the biggest farmers in Grenada, active farmer in Grenada. He supplied more bananas in this time to nearly half of Grenada.
Cole, I don't think that is correct to say Mr. John didn't receive any money. He did say that he did.
Corrected that.
He did say that he did receive.
But I did correct it. I said he received 4,000 odd. Right. So I did correct that.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you very much. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Hey, GT. Good morning. Happy election day.
Good morning to you, sir.
Anyway, good morning, Bertrand, a former student of McDonald College, because I realize you couldn't really explain much about yourself. Okay, Mr. Bertrand, I want to ask you a question. All right. Okay, remember, isn't the same set of people that been in agriculture more than 2 years now? All right. And Mr. Bertrand, you know, during the Ivan, it takes time, you know, I mean, when you have an agriculture system that is done and for it to get back to par, you know, I mean, the city government trying. So I want to ask you right now, that do you think that the move towards agriculture right now, that we're making good on agriculture, because we see the amount of boards that was given away, you know what I mean? And then we know some of the farmers did not receive the money yet because some mistake with some bank account where they're supposed to send in their account and stuff like that. And the second question to you, I know you're interested in politics, because as far as we hear in that, Pamela may not be running again and you might be running in instead. I want to know 3 things you're going to do different right now than Mr. Cornwall in St. Patrick's area where you will be running. And tell me that if you was elected and make a minister, all right, like the Minister of Agriculture, what would be the first thing that you will be doing to show us a change in what we have presently right now?
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Respond to the caller. We are a bit strapped for time.
I realize that we're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
In relation to Ivan and now, that's 2 different dispensations. That's two different time we are living in. What it is so difficult to 1,000 farmers? What is so difficult to allocate some money for 1,000 farmers? If you give me the money and you give me 3 or 4 persons, I can do that in 1 week. You have 4 months with the whole ministry and you are telling me that this take time and people have to wait on you. The weeds and things in the field are waiting on you. The diseases on those trees are waiting on you. The age limit or the time people are getting old, is it waiting on you? Bertrand, just get real for me, please. In relation to politics, 3 things that you want to know that what I can do from Dennis Cornwall. Morning, Mr. Cornwall, how are you? It's my homeboy. I would look after the youths in a different way. I would create opportunities for them. I would not take $150 from poor people, old people. I go ensure that they don't get just the $450, but they get the $650 that you promise, and you never give. I would not be telling lies for people and tell them that, hang on, you know something, I'm going to make you permanent, and we wouldn't have 2 parallel public service. Is that true, or you want more?
They know straight.
Oh.
All right. We do have another caller, maybe our final caller for the morning. Caller, good morning. You're welcome in your live.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your guest, BJ Bertrand John. I've known this individual for a long time now, and he seems to be an exceptionally good person. He's a hard-working man and a long-standing farmer. Hard-working man. He's a good person. We need it. He can make a wonderful contribution to the farming industry in this country. And I think he's a good asset to the country at a high level. Now, BJ, I don't even know that, but most of the farmers that I interact with didn't get the money as yet. I'm talking about big farmers. I have to pay people every day to come on the farm and work. And they lost their income. Diseases are taking their crops. Most of the farmers in St. Patrick's up here, the tomato crop is going down because of disease. They cannot buy the chemicals to spray the tomato tree because they have no money. And the government need to put that money in the people's hands so they can help their farm to grow. They're giving people that work in garden who don't even go in any. As a matter of fact, they don't hardly go in garden. And the farmers who need the money, they still don't get it as yet. So I have farmers come in by me and ask for a phone call. Call the credit union, call the bank to see if the money is there. And that is embarrassing. If you come into ask for a phone call, that's how bad things are with the farmers. So I hope that the government is listening and treat the farmers as heroes, not as beggars, as heroes. That they are heroes in this country. Have a nice day, brother.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Mr. John, of course, any closing contribution before we take a wrap this morning?
Closing contribution before we take a wrap. Want to encourage the government. I'm not critical of them. I'm just encouraging them. I'm challenging them. I'm telling you that, hang on. There are farmers outside there who are willing to put in the extra mile. They need your support. They need your guidance. They need your help. And you need to stop acting in such an insensitive way towards the farmers. That's my major point. That's the point I want people to take home this morning, that hang on. Farmers ought to be treated like heroes and not like beggars. We are important. We are the people who are providing the food and producing the food for your country to keep your country healthy. And you need to treat us accordingly. Have a good morning, Grenada. Love you as always.
Mr. John, I want to thank you a whole lot for being on the program this morning.
Anytime.
Always interesting to have a conversation with you.
And you're going to see me again.
I hope to see you again. Have a good day, sir.
Take care. Bless up.
Folks, that's why we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Thanks to all who contributed. Have yourself a good one, folks. That's all we say goodbye.